Welcome to Rain City Church Online. We are committed to helping you experience God in the everyday. This summer, to help you do that, we are changing up our service a bit, and we are calling it Summer Lounge, a jumping off point for spiritual conversations. Our services will be bite-sized, with a focus on interactive elements such as questions and prompts that will help you experience God with those around you. We are so glad you are here. Welcome to Rain City Church.
Good morning, Rain City Church. I am so excited to continue our series in the book of James for week 5 of our summer lounge. Before we dive in, I want you to take a moment to think of someone in your life who has said something that has left a lasting impression. I hope that those words that come to mind are full of encouragement and love and hope and wisdom. But if your story was like mine, there's probably a few moments where someone said something that left you a little broken or hurt or even lost. When I ask myself that question, there are 2 instances that instantly came to mind. The first of those was when my dear husband Kyle first said I love you in the Indiana State parking lot. And I thought to myself, my God, somebody can love me that's not my mother. The second of those comes from my dear principal in middle school, Dr. Butts. I'm going to continue that anecdote, but before I do, can we just take a minute to recognize that this very gracious man chose the noble profession of education for 6th through 8th graders and had that last name? You can only imagine the things that we said when he was not in the room. God bless Dr. Butts wherever he may be. But the thing that I love about Dr. Butts is that every day after our announcements, he would close in 3 ways. We would recite the Pledge of Allegiance, we would sing a patriotic song, and he would close his statements with this: make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. 15 years later, I was sitting in my office and I had a window that faced my colleagues, and I thought to myself, what is something really cool and inspirational that I can share with my team that'll get them really pumped up for the day? And it was that quote: make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. Our words matter. In his letters to the early churches, James laid a framework for how we are to be followers of Christ. In fact, that's why I love this book so much, because we get a really good look and practical advice on what it means to actually live out the gospel. And in chapter 3, James moves from a conversation about faith and works or actions to a conversation about the words that we use. And he challenges us to think honestly and clearly about the words that we use in every situation. But first, James starts out the chapter by acknowledging how tough that really is, and how we're all human and we all stumble and we all make mistakes, particularly in this area. We have all said something that has been offensive to someone. We have all said something that hurt someone's feelings, and if you have siblings, you have definitely said something that manipulated the outcome of a situation. But James then takes it a step further. He says, yes, this is really hard. We all stumble with it, but let me remind you about how important this is. James 3:3-5 says this: when we put bits into the mouths of horses to make them obey us, we can turn the whole animal. Or take ships as an example. Although they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are steered by a very small rudder wherever the pilot wants to go. Likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Our words matter. They can have a profound impact for good or for ill. At the beginning of this talk, I asked you to think about someone who said something that impacted your life. Just a few words, just a moment of speech, a very small part of the body, and you could probably say verbatim what they said, and you also remembered how it made you feel. James goes on and he says, not only is this important, not only should we be mindful, not only should we think about this impact, but the words that we choose are a reflection of a heart changed by Christ. Our words matter. They can have a profound impact for good or for ill. I ask you at the beginning of this session to think about someone who said something that impacted your life. And you probably thought of what they said verbatim. A few words, a small part of the body, and a huge impact on you. And you probably also remember how those words made you feel. But James again takes us a step further. He says, yes, this is important. Yes, we need to understand the impact, but also the words that you use are a reflection of your heart. James 3:9-12 says this: "With the tongue we praise our Lord and Father, and with it we curse human beings who have been made in God's likeness. Out of the same mouth come praise and cursing. My brothers and sisters, this should not be. Can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? My brothers and sisters, can a fig tree bear olives or a grapevine bear figs? Neither can a salt spring produce fresh water." Words should reflect Christ's love within us. And we have an opportunity to do that not just in our face-to-face conversations, but in the ways that we react, in the ways that we talk about people when maybe they're not in the room, in the words that we use when we're hiding behind our keyboard. We have opportunities every day to reflect Christ's love. On day 423, when you're super frustrated with homeschooling, or when your partner doesn't empty the dishwasher, or when your parents ask you again to call them when you get there, are the words you're using in those moments reflective of Christ within you? In a moment, you will see a set of questions on the screen that are designed to create a space for personal reflection. Use this opportunity to hit pause and discuss those questions with the people around you, or use this as a space to journal. Here are the questions. Number 1, when do you find it most difficult to tame your tongue? Is there something those moments have in common? Number 2, read Matthew 6:43-45. Reflect on the connection to James 3:9-12. How can we shape our hearts so that the words we speak are good, life-giving, and God-honoring? Number 3, what action or actions will you take this week to bless others with your words?
Thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not me, all else to me, save thou, thou art. Thou my best thought by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my life. Riches I heed not, nor man's empty praise. Thou my inheritance now and always. Thou and thou only are first in my heart. Still be my vision, O ruler of all.
God of heaven, my victory won.
Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed today's Summer Lounge edition with Summer Rogers. Also want to remind us that we are in the current spiritual practice season of investing. And we've heard some great suggestions throughout this series on how to grow in spiritually investing in our communities. And today I want to announce that as a church, our leadership and elders have selected a partnership organization with the Center for Children and Youth Justice to elevate racial justice as part of our church's mission to help people experience God in the everyday. And we're really excited to release that. You can go to ccyj.org to get more information on what they do and why we're so excited to support them in partnership. We're going to elevate our investment into our community by partnering with this organization at the same level that we do for orphan care and water. We believe marginalized people groups and people of color deserve that attention right now. And so we are excited to partner with them because they are focused on serving people of color and bringing racial justice to our state's social services systems. Some of the work that they do are empowering foster and homeless youth, designing a safe care system for infants of color, keeping kids in school, reducing gang violence, stabilizing family systems, and supporting LGBTQ youth, and as well combating child sexual exploitation. So we are more than excited to begin our partnership with them in the coming weeks and months. As we close our time today, would you take time in your group today to pray that God would reveal to you opportunities this week that you can invest spiritually or physically and just be the hands and feet of Jesus in your community this week. We're going to put some background music and some images on the screen to just give you some time to, as a group, pray that God would show you how and when to be the light and the hands and feet of Jesus and invest that light into your community this week.